Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Thunderbolts Podcast. My name is Matt Brown. I'm from the Thunderbolts Cricket Academy, and our podcast is designed to talk about cricket in the US, and most importantly, cricket instruction and cricket coaching, and how we can build and deliver the future of cricket in the US. Today, I'm really excited that we get to talk to somebody that has been a coach at our academy for a while, but is also a member of the U.S. women's national team. She is from Seattle, from the Seattle area. And so with no further ado, let me introduce you to Jivana Aras. Hi, Jivana.
Hello.
Welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, it's taken us a little while to get organized. I know you've had a really busy schedule. In the last couple of months with everything in your life, some of that also being cricket. But I've always wanted to, and I know that you have an interesting story about how you got into cricket, because I know that cricket wasn't your first sport that you ever played. Yeah. So maybe we could start with talking to you about how you got into cricket. Where did you start?
Oh, so this is an interesting story. So I grew up playing soccer, and then I was a sophomore in high school when COVID hit. So 2020, I was almost done with my year. And that same February in 2020, the Women's T20 World Cup in Australia was happening. And my dad was like, hey, Katy Perry's performing. Do you want to watch Katy Perry? Not about the cricket. Nothing about cricket actually came up. But he was like, Katy Perry's performing, and I know you like her. You should watch. So I ended up watching. It was her opening act for the entire tournament. And then somehow 10 minutes went by, 20 minutes went by, and I realized I was watching the game and I was intrigued by what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then I recognized one of the players. It was an India versus Australia game. Elise Perry. I've known her since she was playing soccer for Australia, because USA, Australia, they'd play each other, and I knew that as a soccer player. So I got into it then, and then I kept watching the games. I watched through the entire tournament. So very first game was India-Australia. And then the finals was also India-Australia. And I thought it was the coolest thing. And I just fell in love with just watching the sport then. And then my dad, I think someone sent him a post about USA Cricket. They're having a talent ID. And there's going to be one in Seattle. And then this was right before all the lockdowns happened in March. So at that point, we were supposed to have something, I think July. So a few months later, not long after, we were supposed to have a talent ID camp. Like a whole big thing. And then COVID hit. And then everything shut down. And then everything was moved until August, October. Everything was postponed. And we weren't sure if anything was actually going to happen. So we called USA Cricket. We were like, hey, should we go to Dallas and go to the talent ID camp, because is anyone even going to be in Seattle? Like, we haven't heard of anyone playing cricket in Seattle. So until, I think, October, my dad and I, we would go to the park. We went to Robbinswood Park in Bellevue, and we played every day, 3 to 4 hours, just throwing balls, hitting balls, doing whatever I wanted just to get better. So then that's how I started.
That's amazing for like a sport that you'd never played, never really watched, and so different from what you played. So you played soccer. You played soccer like all through your childhood? Like, when did you start playing soccer?
I think the minute I could start walking.
Okay.
I think that's when I started like kicking balls and everything, because I watched my older brothers play soccer. So it was in the family. I have 2 older brothers. Both of them at some point in their life played at a competitive level.
Mm-hmm.
So then when I was 4, I had my very first soccer camp. And then that's how I took off for soccer. Okay. I played until my senior year of high school.
And you played at high school?
I played varsity, and I played select
teams.
Yeah, so I played select for the longest time. And then I played up 2 years. So when I was like a U16 player, I was playing U18. And then I never went to Premier. I didn't want to go that competitive and do all the travel, but I played at a high level where I enjoyed it. And then I played varsity soccer in high school.
Competitive soccer is a lot of travel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get to travel a little bit later. But when you were playing soccer, what was it that you loved about playing soccer?
The camaraderie with my teammates. I think that was the biggest thing for me, especially just like they became my second family because I grew up with the same girls from when we started to all the way through high school. I had the same like 5, 6 girls I would see every day. So we all became really close. But especially during COVID, I mean, I was isolated. At
Mm-hmm.
some point, I think 2020, we had a season. Okay, maybe it was 2021 when we opened it back up. That was probably the biggest thing for me because I was shut out from everyone because the band was there. I didn't go and see anyone. So that was a big thing for me, just being able to go hang out with my friends and do something that we love together.
Yeah, I don't think everybody quite understands just how locked down the state of Washington
Yeah.
was. Like, there's states in the US that may not have had anything close to what we had. In
Yeah.
fact, I know there were teams that were traveling to states where there wasn't a lockdown
Yeah.
and playing
Playing.
sports. And I know that my kids were kind of mad at me for not letting them do that, but
Yeah.
there were teams that did that. So it does make the story even actually more fascinating if you understand how locked down things were here. That you
Yeah.
took that time and to go and learn something new,
Yep.
something completely new.
Very
And
new.
you could have spent that time just, kicking a soccer ball or
Yep.
practicing on a field by yourself, but you chose something new. So, what do you think about? Do you find similarities in cricket that you found in soccer in terms of that like key motivational driver that you got in soccer, which was that team camaraderie? Do you find that in cricket as well?
Oh, definitely. I think for me it was a lot harder, especially when I started because of the lockdown. But as time went on, I found that being in a team, it really helps. It helps you develop as a human. It helps you develop as an athlete. You're always competitive. It's a supportive environment. So I feel like those two things between soccer and cricket, I think that was the biggest thing, the camaraderie. But I think besides that, the fitness. I think all the running that I did during soccer, it really helped me develop
Mm.
as a cricketer just because as a pace bowler, you have to run. You have to love running. And I loved running in soccer, so it was two different mindsets, but I feel like that running really helped translate over into my pace bowling.
Soccer is kind of that kind of sport. If you don't like running, you
You're
won't
not
like
gonna do well.
playing soccer, unless maybe you're a
Unless you're a goalie.
goalkeeper.
Yeah.
But
That's a
then
little
you still
different.
need to love throwing your body around
Yeah.
the place and being athletic.
It's a
So
very physical sport.
absolutely. So um, let's go a little bit deeper into like how did you go from instantly like liking what you saw when you saw cricket to in such a short period of time wanting to compete at that level to go to a talent ID? Like, is there something about who you are that sent you in that direction straight away?
I think so. I mean, partly my dad, he pushed me a lot. He was like, "We're gonna learn something because it's COVID. You have nothing else to do. There's no soccer. Everything stopped for me because here, all the clubs shut down for the longest time. So he was like, "We're gonna push you to do something you've never done before." And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna take it up." Because I love learning. I love to like push myself to do new things. I think that's really what helped drive me into becoming the athlete that I became in such a short period. But I think it was my motivation to just I'm just a competitive person. So it's my motivation and competitiveness is what really drove me.
Tell me about we're talking about your dad. Yeah. And yes, your dad still plays cricket,
He
right?
does.
I might have played against him recently. I might
Yeah.
have lost against him recently. Um,
I
but
heard.
tell me about your. What do you mean you heard?
I heard
It
he
wasn't that bad.
No, I heard he scored the winning runs off of your team.
Yeah, certainly, and it was a short game from that perspective.
Oh.
Um, tell me, and your mother. I don't know whether both your parents play sport. I know that your father does.
Yeah.
Perhaps both your parents played sport. And you did say that he was pushing you, and like you describe it in a healthy way.
Hmm.
Um, your parents, like, do you think your parents had some influence in terms of how they go about things that influenced you as an athlete?
Yeah. So my mom, when she was in high school, she ran track. She also was a javelin thrower. And then my dad, as we said, he plays cricket, but he was also my brother's soccer coach, my soccer coach, my brothers and I, or not my, but he coached track.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also coached my cricket. So there's definitely a lot of, we're a competitive family. It runs in the family. But I think it was just them wanting to support me in anything I do, because they'll always be like that. They always want to support anything I do, even sometimes the bad decisions, but they'll let me learn through that. But I think that's it. They just really wanted to just see me thrive in something that I wanted to take upon myself, instead of my dad like forcing it down my throat, everything. I mean, yeah, there was a little bit of like the, you should do it. You should really, really, really do it. But I think after like a few months, I was like, okay, now I want to do this for myself, and not because someone's forcing me to do it. I mean, there was a little bit of tension here and there, but we got over it. It's father-daughter duo. But yeah.
I'm a girl dad as well.
Yeah.
And I know relationships evolve over time, and there's
Yes.
times where dad and daughter may not necessarily see eye to eye.
Yeah.
But actually, I think there's something that you said there that I think is really important, and certainly my experience.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my opinion, and take it for what it's worth. But when you're dealing with a child and sport, or any kind of interest where you're looking at them and you see their potential and what they could be or what they could do, it's very easy to become very domineering and very pushy.
Yeah.
And the most successful experiences I've seen is where it's the athlete's idea. It's what the athlete wants to do, that they have an interest in it, that there's something in them naturally that draws them to either the sport or, like you said, like the competitiveness, some characteristic of the experience has to be there for them, not because dad or mom wants me to do it, or just because even older brothers or older family members wanted to do it, right? So my older boys played baseball, and my daughter now plays fast pitch softball. I'm trying to get her to play cricket.
I'll convince her.
I can't get her to play cricket because it's not from her. Yeah. Right. And so I don't push it. I try to expose her to it, so that she could just have the experiences. I think varying your experiences gives you a different perspective, even when you go back to your other sport. So I think there's something to be said there for that. But at the same time, she needs to want to do it. And if the more we push as parents, the less likely the result is going to happen. So
I've seen this happen. I know a few players, actually, their parents pushed them too hard to the point that they didn't like the sport because they were doing it for someone else and not for themselves. Yeah. So, I mean, I try curating when I'm coaching. Now from a coaching standpoint, I try curating like an environment where the players love the sport, because if they love the sport, they'll want to grow, they'll want to learn more about it, they'll want to get better. So especially because I coach a lot of the U11, a lot of the very, very beginners, I feel like that's such an important part of just making sure they love the sport, they enjoy playing, they want to come back. And if they want to come back, they'll come back over and over, they'll get better, and then they'll be able to move through the stages of cricket. Yeah. At a quicker pace. But
agreed. I think I certainly I've coached youth sports for a long time, and that's probably my biggest realization. As obvious as it is, you would think that kids have to have fun first. Mm-hmm. They have to have fun first. It has to be almost like play. Yeah, there has to be play in it. And I certainly know that when I grew up, there was a lot less structure around coaching. There was no concept when I grew up in Australia, and there was no cricket academies everywhere. There was cricket clubs, and you played and trained in season for the most part, but there wasn't the opportunities that a lot of athletes have today in terms of being able to get that type of regular training, learning either fundamentals, whatever the skill is, whatever the capability is, and it can actually take the play out of the sport. It can take it out, and those younger kids can switch off and turn off. And so fun first, I actually think is essential. I've actually noticed, I've watched you coach, and I've noticed that you actually make a connection with them.
Yeah.
Where they understand that you know them as a person too.
Yeah.
Not just as
a player
or an athlete or a client.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's super important, and I commend you on naturally having done that and feeling that out and realizing that. Maybe that had something to do with the experience you had just with cricket itself, like with your experience with your father.
I think, my dad, he's always wanted to get to know. I'm his daughter,
Mm-hmm.
so he's known me since I was born, but I feel like we've had that connection, and I think that's what helped me become the player I am. I think that connection of him understanding how I learn, how I need my coaching structure to be, and that's what I think I translate into when I'm coaching these kids. I want to understand them. I want to know, how are they learning? Do I need to do different styles? Do I mix it up for the kids? Also just making sure they're heard, making sure they're cared for, making sure that they know someone will be in their corner backing them if anything happens. Because as a coach, I'm not there just to teach the skill and make sure, okay, you're done, next drill, whatever. I'm there to make sure they feel safe in an environment where they want to learn, and making sure they're doing all right as a human before an athlete. I think that's a big part of it. I definitely say I'll put the human and the person before the sport, because I feel like a lot of people don't do that, and I feel like they put the athlete before the human. And I feel like that's when all the kids start to burn out, and that's when they start quitting.
That's an amazingly powerful statement.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And yeah, I completely agree. It's the experience, the journey is more important than actually where you end up, where that destination is.
Yeah.
Everybody's journey is different, and everybody's final destination where they are in a sport is different. Cricket actually, even with soccer, I suppose, it's actually a lifetime sport.
It is.
I'd like to say that I'm an example. I'm 55, and I still put my pads on every now and again and go out and play some cricket. Although I took a break when I had kids, because cricket is a demanding sport from a time perspective.
Very demanding sport.
Yes. So, but at the same time, I'm still prepared to get out there, and a lot of people are. Whereas there's some sports, especially in the US, where perhaps you wouldn't have it as part of your life.
Yeah.
Throughout your life, I can think of maybe like football, even baseball.
Yeah.
A lot of men move to slow pitch softball. Because baseball league, there isn't really, the recreational league is not as strong perhaps there. Maybe it's too serious. They don't want to be serious about it. I don't know. I didn't grow up in that culture, but I've certainly seen that that cricket, certainly anywhere cricket is played, people play it for a long time through their lives. So I've always appreciated that in the sport. Cricket is an interesting sport. It's a lot like baseball, and where there's a lot of standing around until something happens. It's very similar from that perspective. Actually, a lot of American people get very confused when they think about the word cricket and what the game is, and it's actually not that crazy and not that different than baseball. But so, can you tell us a little bit about as an athlete, what you do today? How do you train? What do you do in anticipation or preparation for matches? Like, I know that you recently just came back from the Netherlands.
Yes.
Right? Representing the US in a T20 series against the Netherlands.
Yes.
The Netherlands is another associate level nation. Yeah. So when you're not on tour, what does Jivana do as an athlete to make sure that you stay sharp, that you're developing, that you're doing those things?
Um, I can just run you through a full day of what I do. Usually I'll wake up and then my dad, because he's my coach, will go out to the nets. We'll go for 2 hours. We usually do quality, or yeah, quality over quantity. That's how we run our practices 80% of the time. So we'll go through bowling, we'll go through batting. He'll give me drills, or I'll tell him sometimes like what I want to focus on. Like if I came off a bad game, like the other day, I got out trying to hit a cover drive, did not work. I got caught. He was like, okay, we're going to focus on what you didn't do or what you could have done better to make sure you actually score runs for your next game, which in this case will be this weekend. So we've been going through our drills, and then for bowling, same thing. But then on the physical side, because I'm part of USA Cricket, we have a strength and conditioning coach. Her name is Asia. I love her. She's one of the sweetest, most supportive humans I've ever met. We have this thing called Team Builder. It's an app, and she puts all of our workouts. So it's like an every other day we'll do weights and like explosive movements, and then the other days where we don't do our weights, we're doing running. We'll do our conditioning. But on top of that, my dad also gives me running, so there's a lot that I have to juggle with.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's part of the sport. I love it, so I'll do it. I'll continue to do it. But mentally, I feel like the mental part is just how I was raised, because I feel like I don't do like the meditation. I don't. Well, I do on and off. Depends on what's about to happen, but I don't do that on a consistent basis. But I mean, I don't know. Have you seen those reels on like Instagram? It's like the really motivational talks, or YouTube. I'll watch one of those. Maybe like every other week I'll find one. I'll listen to it just to like give myself that morale boost. But I think it's just the way I was raised really helped my mental strength, because I'm the youngest of three. I have two older brothers. They're 28, 27 now. So there's an age gap between us. But then I also did karate for 10 years, and I was the only girl. And all the boys were older than me. So I feel like that all kind of played a role into like my mental strength and how I come about as a human, and like how I take it into my game. So I feel like part of it is just developing as a human and learning to be independent and learning that I can do things if I really put my mind to it.
So this is an experience that you still have, though, right? So
Yeah.
in the Pacific Northwest, in order to play a high level of cricket, because there's not as many female cricket players,
Yes.
you play in open league,
Yep.
right? So you play against men.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, like, what is that experience like? Like,
It's fun. I mean, there are a few girls that play. A lot of them are a lot younger, so they're 15, 16, just coming in through the ranks now. But I'm playing because we have this rule in our league, Northwest Cricket League. They are allowing female athletes to play in as many divisions, as many teams as we want. So I'm playing from Div A to Div D, so A, B, C, D. It goes down in competitiveness and skill
Yes.
and everything, but uh, playing against the men, I mean, it helps. Oh, it's an ego boost for me sometimes when I do really well, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I can hold myself together when I'm playing these men. But I feel like because the intensity is so different sometimes from women's cricket, I feel like I'm becoming better as an athlete. Like this past weekend, I was playing for a club and we were playing against another team, but that other team ended up having, well, Sujit Nayak, he's an Orcas player, also Seattle Thunderbolts minor league player, and then a few other very highly respected cricketers that are extremely talented. They're on the older side, but they're very, very, very well rounded players. And I feel like they pushed me to become better in the field, better at bowling, make sure I held my line in length while I was bowling and everything. Batting, I mean, it didn't go my way, but they're there. They were supporting. I mean, they were on the other team, but they were supporting me. And that's the common trend through all the teams. They know a lot of players have heard about me, so when they see me, they don't want to get out. So that pushes me to want to bowl to make sure they get out. But then when they're bad or when they're bowling, they want to get me out. So we're all pushing each other. Part of it's an ego thing because they don't want to get out to a girl. And then for me, is I don't want to get out because I'm a national player. I shouldn't be getting out to these players that haven't played at the level that I've played. So I think it's just going back and forth and making sure everyone's like just playing their best, putting their 100% out there.
So it's healthy competition then.
Yeah. For the most part, it's very
and
healthy.
you find you're finding like the positives in it, finding how it
Yeah.
can make you better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so let's talk a little bit about women's cricket
Yes.
in the US and in the Pacific Northwest.
Mhm.
I'm super excited about the girls program that we
Me
have
too.
at Thunderbolts. They are a fantastic bunch of girls. Like they're so much fun,
Yeah.
and they really have fun. And I've noticed that they have some of the things that you're describing, where they have like a camaraderie. Even though we've only really just brought these girls together recently,
Yes.
they've already kind of built some kind of camaraderie.
Yeah.
We had a great game on the weekend
Yeah, I heard.
where we played another all-girls team from another academy. It was a fantastic game. Went down to the last inning. The last inning. So
Last over.
the last over. Yeah, it went down to the last over, and actually we lent them a player, and she hit the winning runs for the other team.
Oh man, that's
With a
scary.
four. With a four. So we can't be upset about
No,
the
we
fact
can't
that
be upset with that.
our own player beat us. That's okay.
That's all right.
And in fact, cricket is kind of like that as well. Like there's
Yes.
failure in cricket that we have to be able to accept.
Yeah.
And in women's cricket, I know that it's that there's fewer opportunities for you to play
Yeah.
just with women. Can you talk to me about those experiences that you have had here? So not necessarily at the national level, but in tournaments that you've played in. I know you've played overseas in non-national tournaments.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about those experiences, what they were like, what you drew from them?
Yeah, I'll start with just local Pacific Northwest. I feel like, well, I'm a few years older than a lot of the girls playing or coming in, but they've given everything they have to the sport. I mean, they're also balancing life and school. They're all on the younger side, but I feel like just playing with them, everyone's just gone so close together. I know actually some of these girls met not too long ago, and I found out they were having sleepovers. And they're all hanging out together, and I was a little sad I didn't get the invite, but they're all having a lot of fun. I know a lot of the girls at Seattle Thunderbolts, a lot of these younger ones, some of them go to school together, and they see each other so often that I know they're carpooling to practice, they're carpooling home, they're asking their parents, can we have a sleepover? I hear it all the time, and all their parents are looking at me like, see, this is what you got them into. They're this close because the sport has brought them so close together. But then that's just here. But then when I went, so I've gone to Australia. I was there from October 2023 to February, almost March of 2024. And the camaraderie is such a big thing there. I was new. I didn't really know any of the girls when I went, but they brought me in and they made sure I felt welcomed. And the club that I was at, I played for Sydney Cricket Club. And that year I was actually very grateful. We won the 50 over tournament and the T20, so we were champions for both of those. And I missed out getting the medal for the 50 over one. So they sent it to me because they were like, you deserve this. You're part of the team. Even if you weren't there, you still tried to get our team over the line from what you can do. But I feel like it was just everyone, I don't know, everywhere I've gone, the girls have always been extremely supportive. They've always wanted to see each other succeed. I know a few of my friends, Elsa, she was playing, she was U19. She's a few years younger than me. She was playing for the state team, the U19 state team, so New South Wales. But I think this last year, she made it to the women's team, so like the actual New South Wales women's state team. So I've been seeing her perform. She's been doing an incredible job. But I've also played with both of those teams. So I used to train with U19 state and the senior state team. And even just knowing the level, and for context, the New South Wales state team has many Australian players. So Elise Perry plays there, Elisa Healy plays there, Phoebe Litchfield and Ash Gardner. And actually there's a session that I went to, and Ash Gardner, Elisa Healy, and Phoebe Litchfield were all there. So our kids were touching, and I was in shock. I was in
I love
awe.
that.
I was like, these players are next to me. I see them on
Uh-huh.
TV. Like I just saw them at the WBBL game because the season was going on. So I'd go
Right.
to Sydney Creek or all the grounds there, and I would go watch. And then we had practice, and I remember we were batting. So Phoebe was in one lane, I was in the lane right next to her, and we'd be batting, and she'd be like, "That was a good shot." And I remember I can quote her. She goes, "I reckon if you actually followed through on that ball, that would have gone for a six." And that's stuck in my head. And I was like, "There's such competitive athletes, but they're so humble and down to earth, and they're so supportive. They just want everyone to do better." But I mean, they were giving me tips. I couldn't give as much back just because they're way better than I am right now at this point. But I remember also Ash Gardner, she was there and I was bowling with her. We were bowling to Phoebe actually at this point. And I had an injury the weekend before I went to this practice and she was trying to make sure, are you okay? Like if your ankle hurts, don't bowl. Like don't do anything to like make anything worse. Like you're an athlete, but you're a human. You have to take care of your body. And I feel like just the experience I've had there, everything's just been everywhere I've gone has just been so welcoming. Like no matter what, even any other country, I've become really close friends with everyone. But yeah, everything's just been really fun.
It's interesting that it sounds a lot like the adage that I've heard a lot in from coaching girls
Yeah.
is that there's a statement: girls need to feel good to play good. Boys need to play good to
To
feel
feel
good.
good. Yeah.
And it certainly sounds like the feel good part is something that is inherent in the way that women's teams are put together,
Yes.
the way that women come together, or the way
Yeah.
that girls come together to play, where it's almost self-generated a little bit. I
Mhm.
don't know. Some people don't agree because it might imply that boys are more competitive. And I don't know if that's necessarily true.
I don't think that's true.
So, yeah, have you, like, would you agree that girls have to feel good? Like, it could even come down to, like, whether your uniform fits right.
Oh
Like,
yeah. The small details really make a difference. I remember, okay, going back to soccer, I remember our very first year, my freshman year, we were wearing the boys' jerseys. We weren't as confident. I was wearing an extra large men's jersey. I should have been a medium women's jersey. So the difference there, huge difference. I was drowning in my jersey. And I was like, the playing that year, it was a little rough. Just like the small little details of, oh, they never really paid attention to our women's program. Oh, they weren't able to get us the gear that we needed to succeed. So it was like the small things like that. The very next year we got our own jerseys. Everyone was performing at the top level or as well as we could. Everything was fitting right. We felt like we were cared for. We felt like we were actually there and not just like, oh, you're another team. But I feel like that also translates into every other sport and even in life. Like sometimes the small details really like can trigger like, okay, they care for us. We're gonna perform at our top like performance or anything. But I feel like sometimes people can be like, I don't know if you've heard the saying, feel good. No, look good, feel good, play good. I remember because everything I grew up watching soccer, I remember there's this USA women's national soccer team video, and I remember one of the players saying that, look good, feel good, play good. And then I still carry that on to what I do, but I feel like look good isn't, I need to just be presentable for myself, for my own confidence, for my own morale. But then that translates into my competitiveness. But then, like the boys, sometimes they're like, if we perform, our performance dictates our emotions after. I feel like sometimes that does come in with the girls. So I feel like we just have a lot more that we think about, like how are we going to be presented? How are we going to present ourselves? How are we going to play? How are we play? Sometimes might dictate our mood for like the next 2 hours, but then usually we'll try and forget about it. If we had a bad day, in and out, we try and forget, we move on. So I feel like, I don't know, I kind of half agree with the statement.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I understand. I definitely think that there's a lot more to consider especially as women's sports
Yes.
evolve and grow,
Yeah.
that it can't be just considered as like a side exercise, like a side act. A few
Yeah.
girls want to play, let's give them a chance.
Yeah.
If girls deserve to be considered athletes just as much as anybody else.
Yes.
And so the opportunities should be there. The opportunity to feel like you're part of a team. I definitely, for me, uniform is really important because uniform, it does what it says. It unifies.
It unified. Yeah.
It brings people together.
It does.
It says you are one. It's even like I don't really. If we could, I would say take names off jerseys because names on jerseys make you an individual, as opposed to part of a team.
Yeah.
And all sport has moved to numbers and names on jerseys at all levels, all professional, semi-professional, even at the little league level for baseball.
Little League has names on their jerseys.
People have the names on their jerseys. Wow. It depends on the league, but the uniform is important. And so if you can't get behind your uniform, how do you get behind your team? How do you get behind yourself?
Yep.
How do you feel good about yourself? So I think things like that are important. And people are people. Like, not one size does not fit all.
It does not.
In any way. So on the subject of girls, and let's talk about coaching.
Yes.
So we talked about coaching girls a little bit before, but do you feel like there's approaches that you take with the girls that might be different with the boys? Are you think there's things that you think about or that you would do differently between boys and girls?
I feel like, honestly, I coach them very, very similarly. I feel like there aren't many things that I would change. I feel like just because everyone's such at a beginner level and they're all around the same age. But I've noticed with some of the older girls, like pushing like middle school, high school, some of them I show lots of tough love with them just because I want to see them succeed. But with these younger ones, all the girls at Seattle Thunderbolts, I really just try to get to know the players. Like I've said before, that was like my biggest thing, just trying to get to know them. Like even if they stop playing cricket, that's all right. Like I'll always support them with whatever they do just because now we have that bond. They can know they can rely on me. But coaching wise, I don't think it's very different from what I do with the boys. I just try to make sure they're having fun. That's my first priority, making sure they're enjoying the sport. Because as I said before, if they don't enjoy it, they're going to want to quit or they want to stop. And that's not really my goal. I want them to continue. I want to grow the sport within the girls and make sure they have a safe space where they can go from everywhere else, whatever's happening. But I feel like, sometimes I might be a little nicer to the girls, but they also listen a lot better than some of the boys. So I feel like that's just part of it. But that's really it. I don't really change much. I feel like I try to treat them all as equal as I can just because I've seen it with girls in soccer and girls, some of the older ones, because we didn't have that structure for them. I've seen them being treated completely different from the boys. I've seen them being ignored. I've seen them not been given like first priority for coaching. So I try to make sure everyone is equal, especially when I'm coaching. When there's a mix between the two, I try to make sure everyone gets the same opportunity to learn. And yeah, that's my biggest thing.
I like that. Definitely. Do you think there's a point in time in a female athlete's development where perhaps some of the pressures that they're feeling outside of sport might influence their ability to succeed in sport? Like I know, like middle school is like really rough, tough. Really rough. How did you deal with that? Like, do you remember having like those types of problems, those types of like anxieties maybe, or fears or pressures?
Yeah. So I not unfortunately, because it was what I wanted to do. I always put my sports a little higher than my academics. probably shouldn't have done that at that point, but I definitely did feel pressure trying to balance everything out, making sure I was getting all my schoolwork done because I was in middle school. I was also in this International Spanish Academy program, so which meant two of my classes would be in Spanish, my Spanish class and my social studies class. So making sure I'm able to switch on and off from Spanish to English, and make sure I get all my work done, make sure I'm doing it in the right language. I've had times I would finish an assignment, it would be like some English thing, and I'd start writing in Spanish, which means I had to erase it and then read it all again. So making sure I'm clicking on and off, and then
Yeah.
also making sure I'm getting to practice on time, doing everything else I need to do to stay fit, stay healthy, make sure I don't have any injuries. But that was like my biggest thing. Going through high school though, that was a lot harder. As an athlete and as a student, also thinking about college, having all these outside pressures. Oh, where are you going to college? Like, what are you going to major in? Oh, maybe that's not going to give you the lifestyle that you want to have. All these different pressures from everyone. It kind of, I got into this little bubble. Um, so I took 2 years off after graduating from high school. When I had a community college, I took like one class a quarter because we're on the quarter system. But I remember I didn't feel pressured from my family because my brother also did the same thing. So I was like, okay, I know someone that's did it. I know he'll support me. I know my family will support me. But sometimes all these other families that didn't really know what was happening, I felt pressure from outside. I was like, okay, I see all my friends are going off to college. They're getting their degrees. They're ahead of me right now. So sometimes I felt like I was less of a person just because I wasn't doing the norm or the standard of graduating high school, going to college, blah, 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 all of that.
Hmm.
I was graduating high school, but then representing the national team. At that point, it was the U19 team because that's when I graduated. I
Yeah.
was still U19. But I was traveling a lot. So there was a lot of back and forth in my head. Am I doing the right thing? This is what I want to do for the long term, and all of that. But I figured it out. I applied for college 2023. I just finished my first year, junior standing though, so I have 1 year left. But yeah, that was really it. I feel like there's just sometimes high school, there's just a lot of pressure from outside trying to determine what you're gonna do in life, because everyone is trying to get you to do something, and if you don't like it, you're gonna struggle through whatever you're gonna do next. But it's just a lot of those little pressures of everyone being like, "Get your life together. You got 3 years to figure it out. If not, like you're not gonna do anything in life." I feel like sometimes
Right.
I hear that a lot.
And with cricket, a little more difficult than perhaps other sports,
Yeah.
where if you were playing at the national level for any other sport that has a college team,
Yeah.
perhaps your experience in college might be different. Perhaps your experience,
Yes.
like having more support around your studies, more support
Yeah.
around the time and the season. When you're playing in season, there's usually support around like how many classes you're taking at that time, those types
Yeah.
of things. And so that's one of the things about cricket is it hasn't yet established itself as a national sport, and certainly not NCAA,
Yes.
right? So um, perhaps over time this might happen
It might.
as we develop. I know that um, University of Washington, which is where you go to school,
Yes.
right? Recently had a team that they played at other universities, right?
Yes.
Can you talk to us a little bit about that program?
Yeah, so I'm part of this club, where the UW Huskies Competitive Leatherball Cricket Club. There was this tournament called CCL, Collegiate Cricket League, and they invited us to go out to Dallas and play against all these other schools. So a lot of UCs like UCLA, UC Davis, I think, ended up going. One of the Florida schools ended up going. Some schools from Texas, Houston, Dallas, some East Coast schools. All of them went together. I think there was, I might be wrong because I didn't go. I had another tournament that same weekend that I already committed to. I think 16, 12, 14, 15,
That's
somewhere
pretty
in the
cool.
teens. A lot of schools ended up going. It was a T10 tournament, and they all played against each other. And I thought it was a great start to what we could see in the future. I know there's a lot of interest, just there's no spaces for people to express it. Like everyone right now, first few years of their cricket clubs, like for us, we just started. It was our very first year. But I feel like we're expanding it now. We're trying to get more people into it. For our UW one, we're including UW Seattle, UW Bothell, and UW, I think, Tacoma. So all of the kids that wanted to play from any of the UWs, we all came together just because we don't have enough just from one school or not enough people are aware of it. So we're trying to really spread the awareness of, hey, there are a lot of people interested. Here is a club you can come play for. Yeah,
Yeah,
at that
yeah.
level.
Do you think that if do you think you'll play next year?
Yeah, if I schedule it correctly this
Yeah.
time, I'll try and play next year. I really wish I could have gone this year because they all look like they had a lot of fun. I mean, I know all the boys on my team. We all at some point played cricket together, and I met new people. But yeah,
I have another question for you. So you talked about like they went to Dallas to
yes,
go play. Um, Cricket, and especially at your level, involves a lot of travel,
yeah,
right? And so it sounds like you've been traveling for a long time. I
I
mean,
have
you went
been.
to Australia and played there, and and lived there
Yeah,
for a period of time. Um, do you still enjoy the travel? Like, do you still enjoy all of those parts? Like, what are there challenges? What's that experience like?
I love the traveling part. Honestly, it's just so much fun. I mean, I'm going with a bunch of girls. Except for Australia, I'm up by myself. But at least national team or any of these local tournaments where we're going within the states, I'm able to go and see people that I care about, see people, my teammates, see everyone that I've like met and like meet new people while playing. But I just really enjoy it. I mean, for the national team, we're going to most likely a new country, so I get to explore another country as well. I love to travel, not just for cricket, but like when I was growing up, I travel a lot with my family. But I feel like it's just part of it. It's just part of the experience, and I'm very grateful that I've been given this experience and this opportunity to travel. So, yeah.
What was cricket in the Netherlands? How did that compare to cricket in other countries, like cricket in Australia? Like, I've never seen cricket in the Netherlands. I've been to the Netherlands, but I didn't see anybody playing cricket. But
Oh, the differences.
yeah, how would it be different? Like, what was the experience like?
Um,
Perhaps it's the same.
it was actually very similar. I feel like to cricket in the U.S. I mean, kudos to the Netherlands team. A lot of them are a lot older, so I think our one of our older players is probably their youngest player age wise. A lot of them just have a lot of experience under them, but we are also an extremely young team. I think our average going for this tour was 17 point something, 18 years old. But it was very similar to what we have in the US, I would say. We were playing at, I think, club grounds because I don't know if they have stadiums. I mean, we were in Utrecht, so we were in Amsterdam. We weren't anywhere near there. We were quite like an hour away, but it was, I feel like, very similar to US cricket. I think the level was a good level for us. We were pushing each other. I mean, they just have that physicality that not all of us have yet on our team.
Mm.
We're all getting there. We're all still growing up. Like our youngest player is 15, 16, so she's quite young. So I think as we continue and progress in our own skills and physicality, like everything will change. But compared to Australia, so different, extremely different. Australia, when I was there, I was blessed with the most perfect grounds. We were playing on natural turf every day. That's where our practices were. When I was training with the Breaker or the New South Wales state team, they had 15 indoor pitches, 15 outdoor natural turf pitches, and then an actual ground with everything provided. So it's just the levels and the infrastructure that we have is two very different things from associate to a recognized nation.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of the challenges in the Northwest.
Yes.
It's difficult for us to maintain grounds.
Yeah.
Australia, even Sydney, has amazing weather, and the growing period for grass is very different to ours. Ours is very different here. But at Thunderbolts, we have the only turf wickets in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
And we're trying to do our best to put that infrastructure in place. We have some hybrid wickets in Monroe.
Yeah.
That we are, for the first time this year, we're using those wickets and finding that we're having a great experience with it. But yes, infrastructure is something that is in established countries like Australia, New Zealand, England, India. The infrastructure is there because it's such a cultural part of the country.
Yeah.
Cricket is not yet a cultural part of the country
Yes.
um, in the US. I think it's interesting. Um, you described the the senior team as
Hmm.
being very young, like average age of 17.
Yes.
So it's probably a sign that our sport is growing,
Yeah.
right, and has a future
It
in
does.
the country. It's super exciting to see that younger girls are really interested in engaging in the sport
Hmm.
um, and offers opportunities for the future. We certainly have then in our academy, like girls from 8 years old to 14,
16
16
almost.
almost.
Yeah.
So um, it definitely looks like the future is bright,
Yeah.
especially for women's cricket. I actually wonder whether, this may be controversial, I actually wonder whether the true growth area for cricket in the US is actually in women's cricket versus men's.
Yes.
Because obviously there's other summer sports that include a bat and a ball
Yeah.
in the US. The baseball is very popular in the US, especially as a spectator sport.
Yeah.
Um, and whereas for women to go and watch women's sport in the summer, there's not as many options.
There's not.
And so perhaps there's a great opportunity
Yeah.
for women to take cricket forward, even though MLC is, men's cricket,
Yes.
or Major League Cricket is a men's cricket league right now.
Yeah.
Maybe there's opportunity for us in the US with women.
Oh yeah, no, I've definitely talked to my dad about this. We're like, okay, how's the sport gonna grow? Because I've always wanted to grow the sport, just because like I was like, I don't see anyone playing. Like, I only see all of these elders and like uncles playing whenever I go to the park. But I'm like, where are all the kids? Like when I played soccer, there were so many younger kids. But we definitely talked about how if we're gonna grow the sport in America, it's probably most likely gonna be through the girls, just because we're like there's so much we can do. We can put new infrastructure and everything, and they can. There's just so much we can do with all the girls. But I think that's what we've talked about at one point. We're like, if it's gonna grow, it's gonna grow through the girls.
Yeah, I like the fact that often I see girls self-organize as well.
Yeah.
So the boys have, my experience is that boys tend to not self-organize as well. They're not as organized.
Yeah.
Like their development of women and is different
Mm-hmm.
timeline wise, in their ages, and so um, I definitely feel like if given the opportunity, girls will take the opportunity to go and build what they need,
Yeah.
put things in place that they need.
Yeah.
We just need to have that grassroots
Yeah.
sort of grasp. Is what it feels like. So,
Yeah.
and that's why I was saying earlier, I feel really excited about the number of girls that we have at Thunderbolts. I'd love to have more girls. I'd love to see more girl-only teams
I
playing
would also
against
love to
each
see
other.
that.
We'll have a couple of posts on our Instagram coming up with some of the footage that I filmed at that game, which was fun. On coaching again,
Yes.
this generation of kids have grown up with a very different experience than previous generations.
Yeah.
So, like myself, my generation, the generation before me, even the generation after me, um, we we grew up in the infancy of technology, in the
Yes.
infancy of screens, in the infancy of changes in the way that we learn at
Mm-hmm.
school. Um, Generation Z and Generation Alpha definitely have a different experience. It's
For
amazing to
sure.
me how tech savvy these kids are from the get go. Like
Yeah.
if I need somebody to cut up some video for us for Instagram, I bet I could find one of our students that could do it for me better than I could.
Probably.
But do you see some of those differences? What do you think that we can do that would help us coach this generation better? Like, how do we serve them better?
I mean, to start, I am Gen Z, so I coaching Gen Alpha is probably it's really fun. They love to talk. I learned that they love to get really involved with everything, but a lot. I feel like let's see, a lot of the kids, at least that I've seen in this area, are of South Asian descent. Either their parents immigrated, or they were born here, or they were born somewhere else and they were moved at a very young age, but they became very Americanized. And I think that's what people need to realize, that sometimes even if a certain coaching style works for some people, it might not work for everyone, and that's what we need to know. That's what we need to realize when we're coaching, that some styles just don't work for every kid, especially some of the more Americanized kids. So some of the South Asian coaching styles, although it might work for some players, when translating over to some of these kids, it might not work just because the way they were brought up and the way everything they've learned is so different. So I think that's something that we just need to take into consideration whenever we're coaching these younger ones, just because they see it, but they've never actually dealt with it or witnessed it for themselves. So it's just that small learning curve that we just need to make sure we're following through and making sure the students are getting what they need and we're teaching them the way they need to be taught, because now, I mean, as like time has gone on, there's so many different ways of coaching, so many different ways of learning. Like there's the visual learners or the hands-on learners, and that's what we need to like keep account of. But yeah, I think we just need to make sure we're considering all of what the kids need and not put ourselves before the kids. I feel like sometimes we put our own self as coaches and being like, okay, I'm going to get this player to this level at this point, but then we don't know how we're going to get that player to that level. Instead of making sure that those kids are getting to that level, how they need to get to that level, we're forcing them to learn skills maybe they're not ready for, or we're pushing them too hard, or we're teaching them in ways that they're not comfortable with. So I feel like sometimes we just need to listen to the kids and listen to whoever's telling us, like, this is how my kid works, and make sure we help them grow with how they need to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we do that, they'll progress quicker. They'll be able to understand what we're trying to tell them and understand everything that they need to do. And then they'll want to do it because they know what they have to do. Their brains just work like that. So I think it's just like those small little things that we need to learn with this next generation, because that's what I've noticed. Sometimes, I mean, my dad, he coached me. I do take some of the strictness of what he gave and like try and put it in place. But sometimes if I go too overboard on accident or something happens, then they freeze and they're like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know what to do. So sometimes I have to take a step back and be like, hey, this is what's happening. This is what you should do. This is what you need to learn. Or this is what we're trying to get you to understand. So it's just taking it sometimes a little slower if we need, but also making sure we're understanding the students more than anything.
I hear you say a few things in there. I hear you say, actually, it comes down to the individual.
Yes.
So not necessarily like bucketing somebody into a generation,
Yeah.
but coming down to the individual. What does the individual need?
Mm-hmm.
I love the way that you bring that out, because everybody does develop in their own way, and everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses.
Yes.
And all strengths can be weaknesses. So it's important that we make sure that we treat people as an individual, as a person first, and how they work, how they live, how they learn.
Mm-hmm.
That's super important.
Yeah.
I also heard you say that we need to make sure that our coaching infrastructure understands that we're coaching American kids, regardless of their heritage.
Yeah.
Regardless of where their parents came from.
Yeah.
Because these kids have grown up in a culture and a society
that's very
different. Yeah, absolutely. And I also hear you saying that they talk a lot, they ask a lot of questions.
They love to ask questions.
And they've actually learned how to ask questions, which is a great thing.
It's a great thing to know. Because I remember when I was younger, I so scared to ask people questions, but I'm glad we've created that space where they're like, tapping me on the shoulder, coach, what should I do? How do I do this? Blah, 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 this and that. And I'm like, okay, I'm happy you're asking me questions, but one at a time, please. Like, there's a
Yeah.
lot of questions coming in, but I'm happy we're able to create that space where they're comfortable enough to ask all of the coaches or the coaches anything that they need, or like from like the smallest thing, or like, what did you eat for dinner today? What are you gonna eat? And I'm like, I know, like, we're trying to focus on the cricket. Please focus on the cricket, but I'm happy you're asking me these things.
Yeah.
Like, it just shows that you want to be here. You're expressive. Like, you feel safe in this like environment, and now like because you feel safe, you're gonna want to learn. And I'm happy that's what we're able to provide them.
I think I've certainly felt this way in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of coaches that are older
Mm-hmm.
probably have this experience where athletes will actually ask you why.
Yeah,
Younger athletes want to
they want to
know,
know.
why are you making me do this?
Yeah,
Like, what am I going to learn from this?
yeah,
And if you don't keep your ego in check, you can be offended by the fact that, in the past, you never asked why, you just did.
you just listen
Right?
and
You
you
just
do.
followed the
Yeah.
instructions, and success was basically following the instructions as prescribed,
Yep.
as opposed to like exploring what it
Yeah.
was that you were trying to learn and finding ways to fail in order to find success.
Yeah.
And the idea of them asking why is actually a really good thing, because that's them trying to understand the fundamentals from
Yes.
the inside out.
Yeah.
And perhaps if you understand the fundamentals from the inside out, you actually have a better grasp of the fundamentals in the long run.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely, like, younger generations, the way that they learn at school is not rote learning.
Mm-hmm.
There's no learning your times tables anymore. There's no, like, you're taught to think for yourself and
Mm-hmm.
understand concepts that you can then apply to
everything
situations,
else. Yes.
which is great problem solving skills.
Yeah.
But as coaches, we have to realize that and know that it's okay.
Yeah.
It's really easy to get to feel like you're the one that has to have all the answers, and not everybody else. Your students are not supposed to.
Yeah.
But actually, if we teach them to be problem solvers,
Then they'll be able to figure things out on their own, and they're able to grow. Not just as a player, but like as a person, as a whole. They're able to learn those things, and that's why I think the difference between some coaches, you'll really see who's able to understand the kids and who's not able to understand the kids, and who's wanting them to succeed in their own way and at their own time. I feel like time is such a big thing, especially for a lot of these younger athletes. Like, some of them, they won't understand it at first, but if you give them the time, if you give them the space, they're going to be able to figure it out. And I think sometimes we can't handhold them all the way through. We have to let them figure it out by themselves. They have to build that critical thinking. They have to get that problem solving in there. But I think that's what I try to build. As I said before, I try to build character in these players before I build the skills for these players.
right?
I think that's just such an important thing, because, I grew up playing a million different sports, and I feel like that's one thing that I never continued all of them for like that long, except for soccer and karate. I did for the longest time. I did tennis, but I feel like I learned so much and how to become a better person that it was able to translate into my everyday life and all my other sports. And I think that's what I want to give to this like next generation. I want them to be able to build that character, build those small little details of their life, and be able to carry that through for the rest of their life. I want them to be like, I remember this coach told me this thing, and I will never forget it. That's what I want to try and help these kids learn. I want them to be able to learn these small skills, these like hard skills, soft skills, all of it, while playing a sport that they like.
Mhm.
So we're developing a person, not just the athlete. I feel like that, I've said it 1,000 times, but I feel like that's just so important to me, because maybe they won't go to the highest level. Maybe they'll stop once they hit middle school. Maybe they'll stop in a few years, but they should always remember what they learned wasn't just the sport. It was something else more than the sport. Yeah.
Agreed. So it's almost time for us to wrap up.
Okay.
Okay. Perhaps we need to do a part 2. Thank you for coming in today. Really appreciate it. We might have to do some more, because I have so many more questions to ask you. And
I have lots of answers.
I love your answers. But we want to finish with a little bit of this or that. This or that with the Jivana Aras. Okay. So and I'll ask you a question,
And I say this,
and you tell me which one you like.
Okay.
All right. Some of them I might ask why.
Okay.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Okay. So, T20 or 50 over match?
Oh, T20.
T20. Okay.
Yeah.
Batting or bowling?
Okay, I have two different answers. T20, I love to bat just because I can go in and I can hit. But I also really love bowling in like longer formats just because I have so many overs. I can get so many wickets, and that's just my goal to get as many wickets as I can. But oh, let's split. Can I say or?
Or, and that is, yeah, well, it is or. It's not and.
It is or.
Okay. Bouncer or Yorker?
Yorker.
Yorker.
100%. I love Yorkers. I bowl them all the time.
Awesome. So, wicket, if you're going to get a wicket, LBW or caught behind?
Oh, that's a hard one. Wait, that's really hard. Oh, caught behind. I don't know. It's just something satisfying about it going off the bat and then getting like landing into the keeper's hands. I mean, I've had a few of my international wickets like that. Pooja Ganesh, amazing keeper. Oh my gosh, she's such a sweetheart. She's the one who usually takes the catches behind because our other keepers haven't been there. They've been injured or something. But I think caught behind.
Caught behind. All right. When fielding, slips or long on?
Long on.
Long on?
Long on. If not long on, gully.
Okay. So this one, I'm hoping this one's tough for you.
Oh no.
Right, because I got this from your profile on USA Cricket. So is it Elise Perry or Shabnim Ismail?
Oh.
Because they're your two
They're my
idols.
two. And I've met both of them, and Shabs and I, she loves to taunt me. Whenever she sees me, she's always making fun of me. Oh, that's so hard. I don't want to choose.
I told you I didn't know whether some of these questions would be right.
Oh, that's okay. Oh. As someone I personally know, Shabs, but as someone that I've known for a longer time, and as someone that I've grown up watching, Elise Perry.
Good answer.
Yeah.
All right. Elise Perry, not Katy Perry.
Elise Perry, yes. Spelled differently.
Playing in pants or shorts?
Oh, I love training in shorts. I'm always in shorts. Whenever I'm at the academy, I'm always playing in shorts. But for games, pants. Just because I am allergic to grass, so I'll break out into hives.
That'll happen, yeah.
Yeah.
Cricket in Australia or England?
Australia.
Australia?
Yeah, I think I'm biased just because I haven't played cricket in England yet.
Okay.
I've only played in Australia also. I just like Australia. There's beaches there.
Cricket in Australia or Hong Kong?
Australia still.
Still
Yeah,
Australia.
still Australia.
Okay.
It's my second home now.
I can't argue with that. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking the time
Well, thank
in
you
your
for
busy
having
schedule
me.
to come and see us here and to be our first podcast guest.
Well, it's an honor.
I appreciate it. Tell us, where can we find you on social media?
Let's see. Well, I only have really Instagram. That's public for everyone, but it's gv.aras, jivi.aras.
All right.
And I'm always posting or doing something on there.
Always something. Or sometimes liking our posts.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. Thank you.
I do stalk the academy.
All right. You stalk us.
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
Or it's not stalking if it's public information out there.
That's true. That's true. All right. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you again soon.
Well, thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone.